All right, what's up, people? Back at you. Black Quarterback Forum YouTube channel. .qbseffect.com. Session number 2. So we're gonna look at some of the upcoming games and the top teams. We figured that would take up this whole session because the NFL is about to heat up.
It's on fire.
So, and Hype and Hope League, baby, it's about to hype. It's about to really take off because we got what we was just looking at it on our intermission. That
The seedings.
Oh, the seedings and some of the games. Yeah, the seedings. Oh, we'll talk about, okay, so top teams in the AFC. I'll let you go first.
The AFC, my number one team, Baltimore. It's been that way since week 1. It'll be that way till the video after Super Bowl Sunday. Number 2 team is Jacksonville. I feel like the number 3 team is the Dolphins. As I've been saying, again, probably since week 1, the Chiefs just, to me, I don't feel like even with that improved defense, they don't have the offensive firepower to keep up with Baltimore, Jacksonville, Dolphins, Bengals. I would say even the Bills. I just don't feel like they have enough firepower offensively. So they'll probably make the playoffs by winning that division. But honestly, I think they're going to be one game and done.
Fizzle out, huh?
Fizzle out. They won't be the number 1 seed, so you're not getting the first round bye. Like, I don't know their schedule, but I could easily foresee probably a couple more losses, probably this coming Sunday in Germany to the Dolphins, as we'll talk about later on in this segment with the upcoming games and stuff. But
how you say lost in German? If you know, let
lost
me
in
know.
Germany. But those are my 4. You know what I mean? Jacksonville probably is one of the hottest teams in football. You know what I mean? They've won a lot on the road. They've beaten a lot of good teams.
They have.
And they in control. I ain't going to say handily won every game, but they've pretty much been in control for most of the games.
Yeah, they're very good, no doubt. I mean, they're one of the better teams.
And the defense is surprisingly a lot better than anyone probably really expected.
Yeah, they're one of the worst divisions within the conference, but
but they're winning out of conference. So they're winning games out of conference.
Too good. That's good. That'll help them in the playoffs when they lose again, but that'll help them.
What's your AFC?
No, they're pretty much the same 4 teams. This got them in different order. I'll say Baltimore, Kansas City, Miami, Jacksonville. The same 4 teams. You know, I saw Baltimore up close in person. We went to the game. It's different, right? And you see the team, how they operate. That final score was not indicative of how Baltimore controlled the game. Okay, so, yeah. We like Baltimore around here, but they're playing well. They're one of the better teams. And when you get to the latter part of the season in the playoffs, it's about the whole team, right? And they got one of the better defense. I did make note of that on the commentary. I went and looked at the defensive stats. And if you can go look at them for yourself, you can see Baltimore, I think it's 2nd or 3rd in yards allowed.
Yeah.
I think Cleveland's up there.
Number 1 in points allowed.
Right. And then
number 1 in passing yards allowed.
Sacks. Baltimore's
number
actually
1 in sacks.
So, and everybody loves stats.
And we don't have 5 first-round D-linemen.
Everybody loves stats, right? So they're the stats for your ass. Okay? Those are all stats. So, but we about offense around here. That's what I said. So anyway, those are the 4 in the AFC. In the NFC, for me, I bought the jersey. Jalen Hurts. It's the Eagles and everybody else. So, I mean, to me, the Eagles operate and play better. And they got one of the best wide receiver tandems in the league. Did you see the catch that my man made this past weekend? Talking about one hand. I mean, A.J. Brown just beasted on him. Huh? He's a hell of a receiver. So, I mean, that helps out Jalen Hurts big time. But then who's the second best team? Is it Detroit? Is it San Fran? Is it Dallas? Is it Geno and Seahawks? I mean, pick one, America. Y'all pick it. I know you can't. It's the Lions. Well, that Cinderella story stopped 2 weeks ago. No. They restarted it. They restarted Cinderella.
I mean, they just lost to the Super Bowl champions. You can't fault them for that.
And then but Goff gives it up. You know, he gonna, if you pressure him, like any good quarterback. I mean, I shouldn't say, well, any quarterback that gets pressure, every quarterback handles it differently. He's been prone to throw those INTs when he gets pressed, right?
Yep.
When you get at him, he's been prone. So that's all I'm saying there. So I mean, they all have their weaknesses,
But he
but
did have a pretty long streak of no interceptions.
he did. He
Like
did.
20 something, maybe 30
I think
games.
today they showed some stats about when he came to the Lions. Yeah. So it, and he's been to the Super Bowl one time, and he lost. And y'all heard the story about quarterbacks that go to the Super Bowl one time or the first time and don't make it. So
That bodes well for Baltimore.
so that's my well, I don't know at this point. I mean, if I had to pick one, I couldn't argue against the Lions. I mean, I think it'd be hard to win up in that stadium late in the season. They're not outdoors, but that they might have some sort of advantage in that dome. You know what I'm saying?
I just feel like my number one is the Lions in the NFC. I feel like at this point now, they're winning the games they're supposed to win, controlling those games. And again, you can learn a lot from losses. You know what I mean? So I feel like the Lions is number one. Number two, I know Al says we got to list the current division or conference winners or division winner, but my number two is the 49ers. I still believe in the 49ers. They picked up Chase Young, which is going to strengthen a defensive philosophy, which is rush to 4 and drop everybody else back. So now they got about 8 first-round picks that they can rotate between. So hopefully that generates some pressure. But if they can't generate the pressure, they could be in trouble against a team like the Lions or the Eagles. My number 3 team, I'm going to put the Eagles in there.
He just don't like the Eagles at all.
It's not that I don't like the Eagles. It's just of all these winning teams, they've played the least competitive opponents.
I think he went over that last week. Was it 42%?
42%. And like they barely win, and it's not in good fashion. And to me, that Jets loss, I get the Jets are playing
catch
well.
up with him at some point.
That Jets loss, yeah, it's going to catch up. The Jets loss, to me, was a real ugly loss. The team was down 2 corners and the starting quarterback.
Some people believe in the Jets. People believe in the Jets.
The Jets,
What Jets defender said? Their defense is going to be historic.
Hey, if they get themselves into the playoffs, that might be some type of truth to that.
Oh, my goodness.
And the Bills may be the team to fall out after they lose to the Bengals.
Oh, well, we'll talk about that in a moment in upcoming games, huh? But
those are my 3. The 4th, I mean, from the South, there's no point in mentioning the team from the South. Like, I still think the Saints win that division, but we on super life support for the Super Bowl.
Falcons are the ones right now, right?
Yeah, Falcons currently right now winning the division.
Right.
At 4-4.
When they just benched their starting quarterback, Desmond Ritter.
Because he won.
Because he won.
Put him into first place and earned a spot on the bench for that, buddy.
Because he won the game. Now you get to go watch, okay? So
let him show you what to really do.
But there's going to be some really interesting games coming up. With the biggest one is test number 2 for the Cowboys, and they failed test number 1. That's when they lost to the 49ers. Now they play Philly. It's a divisional game. They go up into the city of brotherly love, and they're going to get, I don't know. They're going to get beat down. No, I mean, it's going to be a division game. You know how the division games are. The only thing in Dallas's favor is that they're not a primetime game. Because if it was a Monday night, Thursday night, or Sunday night, I would be Philly all day. But it's going to be interesting. So,
I was just looking at something, formulating something, seeing, because NFL, just since we're talking about upcoming games and things like this, because you said it's not a primetime game, and the NFL is all about the ratings.
Right.
They had they had a super tough decision to make going over this schedule. Because just in the games we mentioned, you got the Cowboys, Eagles, who are not in prime time. Mm-mm. But the games they chose to put in prime time was Bills and Bengals. Two good quarterback matchups.
Yeah.
Important game. And then the man we haven't talked about in a few weeks, somehow he finds his way to the limelight. Chargers Jets Monday night.
Because they thought Aaron Rodgers was the quarterback.
Yeah.
That's the NFL trying to keep the great white hope alive. I'm telling you, that's all it is. Because once Aaron Rodgers is gone, right? I always throw this out there to people I talk to about sports too, right? And some of them are befuddled. They don't even realize there's only 2 quarterbacks that are currently playing that have won the Super Bowl. Just 2. Patrick Mahomes and Matthew Stafford. That's it. Nobody else playing the game right now has won a Super Bowl.
True indeed.
A lot of people don't realize that. And so my point here about that, when I start going over that with people, is that some of these teams with some of these quarterbacks, they ain't going nowhere. You know? And as we talk about some of these other games coming up, speaking of Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, they will play Tua and the track team, as I like to call them, over in Germany. Wiesbaden. Hello. Weegates. So, and that game comes on very early in the morning for us here in America. So we're going to see. Here's another thing that I always that I've been saying lately too. So Patrick Mahomes, all the problems they have on offense and how weak their team looks and this and that, the whole team, if he gets to the conference championship game, not just if he get there, that's then would be a major accomplishment for them. The way their season looks at this point and the way it could unfold.
Yeah, I mean, some people still got them best team in the AFC.
I know. Okay,
so that's just
one of the games.
Now, with the Dolphins Chiefs game, the one thing I was asking Al was, is this almost like a lose-lose for the Dolphins? Because if you lose, you really can't be taken seriously. And if you win, do you earn the credit when everybody knows the Chiefs pretty much the wounded duck right now in the AFC, as far as the big dogs? They wounded now. You know what I mean? So it's like, do you get credit for the win? And you definitely can't lose. So it's a tough situation for the Dolphins to be in right now.
They get credit for it if they beat Patrick Mahomes, no matter where they beat him. I'm sure Tyreek going to try to do some backflips, whether it's in Germany or South FLA. Or
I think they got a better shot in Germany than in Arrowhead. I think it works into their favor.
They won't know what the hell's going on. But
I do.
Another big game is the Bills and the Bengals. And that's interesting because to me, the Bengals, it's like we had said something before, like with the Cowboys and the Eagles, that game's gonna have a playoff atmosphere locally. Yeah. And that's it's not a playoff game. But it's
at that level.
Right, at that level.
Don't get to the playoffs.
Right. And that's the same thing with the Bills and the Bengals, because both need to continue to win. Because if the Bengals lose,
it's like, okay, y'all did a good job beating up on the Cardinals and the bad teams.
Right.
Like, y'all ain't really beat nobody. I mean, not to say that win the 49ers, but again, the 49ers looking kind of wounded right now. You know what I mean? So it's like, are y'all really that team now starting to skyrocket? Or are y'all just beating up bad teams?
In the other game that I saw they talked about was a big game to me, which I don't think is that big of a game, but Seattle coming into M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore to play the Ravens. Only reason why I just said because Geno, he throws a little bit too many interceptions right now. They have been winning, but I guess against better teams, I don't think you can turn the ball over and continue to win. And I think that's going to be tough on the road. But stranger things happen in the NFL. That's why I say any given Sunday. I'm not saying the Ravens are going to blow them out, but I think the Ravens could win that game.
I think the Ravens win the game, but I think it's closer than one would think. But as a Raven fan, I like it because it's going to kind of put us more back to where that dark horse. That's where we like to be. Don't bring us to the front. Keep us in the back. Keep your Buffalo and Burrow and Tua and the Chiefs. Keep all of them up in the front. We behind all of them. But hopefully, when it's all said and done, I think the Ravens will win the game, but it will be a lot closer, a lot more drama than needs to be.
Probably,
but
man. You know, the NFL, they'll bring you drama on the game 30-3 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll create drama. But
I think some of that too is the fact of that touchdown being worth 7. So like when you down 10, you down 14, even down 21, like being down 6 points in basketball, you think that's nothing, right? That's a 3. 2 threes, couple trips down the floor. Football the same way. It's just you down 21, you down 17.
I go back to my argument that efficient offense will always be the best defense. I don't care, and that's what that comes down to. And to me, at the end of the game, and they've shown it year after year, sometimes the team with the ball last gonna win, and sometimes that defense do gotta make a stop.
Yeah.
So we know that defense gotta make a stop at some point during the game. And everybody just can't keep going but down the field scoring. Somebody's gonna stop somebody. So, but hey, the NFL is fun. It's exciting. We in that second, third, right? Got that first 6, second 6, third 6. Well, 5 games, but 6 weeks technically. So, and we'll see who's got what, as I like to say, as we're moving on. Will the Ravens be consistent? That's been the knock on them. So we'll see how consistent Lamar Jackson is. We didn't get into the quarterback stats where if you filter by completion status, he's number 2 or 3, over 70% completing their passes. Not that high up there in yardage, but like I like to say, you got to complete the pass first before they can run with the ball down the field. So
absolutely,
completing it is important. But anyway, if you're watching the videos, we love it. We love y'all. But the thing I would say about football, I know everybody got their favorite team, but you can't root for the other team's quarterback. I understand the culture, but that ain't me. I root for all the black quarterbacks. Okay, that's what I like doing. So,
next week we'll have an update on those tier rankings from
we'll talk about
earlier in the season. See where we at.
We just ain't got hours and weeks and 5 days to talk about all this stuff, people. But take care. We love y'all.
All right.